everybody, it's Kelly from Loch Briar Knits coming to you from a somewhat sunny Nova Scotia, Canada. I was going to say it's kind of more cloudy now. Whatever, it's fall. This is a knitting podcast, so welcome back to all returning subscribers and viewers, and welcome to any new viewers. We hope you'll stick around and come back for some more. Remember to hit the thumbs up and the subscribe button if you want to be notified of any upcoming episodes, which this is episode 42? Episode 42, yes. We'll go with that. Episode 42. Where you can find me on the interwebs. I'm most active on Instagram, Ravelry, and I have an Etsy shop where I sell my hand-dyed yarns. So on Instagram, I'm Kelly L. Boyce, so I'll just pop it down here. And on Ravelry, the group for the podcast is Loch Briar Knits, and my username is Loch Briar, and I can feel a sneeze coming on. Coming. And it crawled back up inside. Anyway, what else? Loch Briar Knits is my Etsy shop as well. So I think that's everything. There's a Facebook group, blah, blah, blah. I'll put all the spots, all the links to where you can find me down below in the drop-down bar. And that's where I'm going to keep the show notes. So I'll put any links to any patterns and what have you that I mentioned down there. If I forget something and you're wondering, just fire me a comment down below. I check the comments regularly, and let me know. So that's it. That's it for the administration. It is, what day is today? Saturday, October 13th. Lucky 13. So, first off, let's start with what's in my cup. Let's first take a look at this beautiful mug. Is that not gorgeous? Seriously, I've been on a bit of a mug buying binge lately. So I may have to get rid of some. Or actually, I'll move them out to the summer house. That's what I'll do. So what am I drinking? Drinking something a little different today. Paquin Revitalize. So this is, I'm going to set this down because it's too hot to drink right now, and I'm going to spill it on myself. That's going to hurt. So it is a burst of warming organic cinnamon, cardamom, and ginger. Ta-da! So, I still feel like I'm going to sneeze. What are we doing? This is a knitting podcast. Did I mention that? Because we've covered like tea and the weather and sneezing. So let's just jump right into it because I have a foe. Da-da-da-da-da. So, for any new viewers, I am in a mad rush to get all of my Christmas sock knitting for gifts done before I have shoulder surgery first week of next month. So I'm closing in. I can't remember. I think, let's start with these ones. So these ones are for my niece. Now, I'm pretty sure that I showed you this as a finished object last episode, but here's what I realized afterwards was I thought her foot was 8.5 inches long, and then I looked at my sister's notes again and she said no, it was 9.5 inches long. So I had knit these based on the 8.5, but I left about an extra like 1/2 inch because she's 12, turning 12, so obviously still growing. So I thought, well, I'll just leave a little, and you know, that they stretch a little too. Anyways, when I realized my mistake, I took them down and what I did was I put them on the sock blocker so that they were this way, just to stretch them out that last little bit, which worked, thankfully. So now they're the right length, but I did have a bit of a panic moment thinking I was going to have to take out the toe and reknit them, or reknit the toe, which I really did not want to do. So anyways, that worked. So these ones are for my niece, and these are knit on my Kill All the Pretty colorway. And these ones are for my nephew who loves to make fun of my fear of sharks. So I dyed this colorway. This is my Shark Week colorway. It's not in the shop right now, but you'll probably see it come June. Because I think June is when Shark Week is on the Discovery Canada channel every year. So I'll probably do it in advance of that. But, so this is my faux. So these are done. So that means all of my sister's kids are done. My sister-in-law is done. My brother's daughter, my niece, is done. So all I have left right now is my brother's 2 sons, so 2 more nephews, and I want to get one done for my sister, either that or a socket hat, I don't know yet. And the cowl that I had knit for my sister-in-law, which I showed several episodes back, I'm not going to give that to her because there's just, like, I look at it and I can see the mistakes in it, and it really bothers me. And I'm like, I can't give that as a gift. But I had some other stuff that I kind of exchanged that with, not like hand knitted stuff, but she's already got the socks, so I'm not too worried about that. But I have to say, I absolutely love how these turned out. So I do have another skein of that right there. I haven't actually had that colorway in the shop yet. I was doing a couple of prototypes, and I have another one which actually has more of the kind of this color blue in it. So yeah, so that's gonna those will show up in the shop probably in June. But for now, my my nephew, he's my youngest nephew, he loves to tease me about my phobia about sharks, and so I figured it was fitting that I would give him the Shark Week colorway socks. So that is my one and only faux. But oh, reach. Okay, there we go. That is not all I've been working on. This, believe it or not, I am almost finished my Tegna, whatever. Tegna sweater by Caitlin Hunter from Boyland Knits. So, okay, wait. I literally have one sleeve left to do. So I was making the sleeves longer. Back up a little here. Than was called for, just so that it would kind of fall, almost, yep, IT, fall like right at the crease of your elbow, kind of come down to there. So you can kind of see it's a little longer. So, and then I did a stretchy bind off because I can't stand anything tight on my arms. So it looks so short, but it's got alpaca in it. So let me see if I can back up without knocking anything over. So I almost frogged this the other day because here's what I discovered. Fix my pillow. Booter's still hanging on there. So here's a couple things. I'm going to put my glasses on so I can see what I'm doing. This feels like the pattern that has tried at every step to defeat me. And it's only my second sweater, so I'm not getting too fussed about how perfect it is, because I'm still on a learning curve, and I'm okay with that. But going along, I think I'm doing fine. So you'll see where I pick up the stitches in the back, and I feel like that looks pretty good. But then where I picked up stitches on this, and it's really messy looking. And I don't know if that's going to block out and be a little less noticeable, but it's like there's gaps. And picking up stitches is clearly something I need more practice on. Because when I picked up stitches here, again, this doesn't look very seamless. And you know what I was doing? And I don't know if that's what made the difference. Maybe, I think it might have been. I kind of had this inside out when I was doing it. When I was picking up the stitches. I don't know, maybe it didn't make much of a difference. Anyway, so when I was doing that just because I found it easier to see the stitches that I wanted to pick up that way. And then when I flipped it back over, it just sort of looked like it had a bit like of a ridge. And I don't know if that's supposed to be there or not. But again, learning curve, right? So, and then there's some little holy bits here, which I'm basically going to just use this to sort of weave through it. Here was my big issue though. Well, actually, sorry, here's another issue. My wrap and turns. I don't know how well this is going to show up. So, when you look at the wrap and turns here, like they're quite noticeable. So, it's like the stitch is twisted. I'm trying to find like, so if you look at this one, I don't know how well this will. So if you look at this one here, you can kind of see, you know, like the, let's see if I can do this without blocking it. So here's the wrapped stitch. And you can kind of see that it's the wrap stitch. So it stands out, and I don't think it's supposed to look like that. Like I thought the wrap and turn was kind of supposed to be relatively unnoticeable. So anyway, that's a thing that I'm gonna have to figure out. I do think my shoulder seaming turned out really well. I was really happy. It was my first time doing like a three needle bind off. So I do really like, I think that turned out really good. But again, you can kind of see like these little bumpy parts are the wrapped stitches. And I don't really know. I'm going to have to go back and look at the tutorials and just see, am I twisting it the wrong way when I'm picking it up? Or putting it, yeah, I don't know. I think what I might be doing is twisting it, because you pick up the wrapped stitch and put it back on the needle and then knit the two together. But I'm wondering if when I pick it up and put it back on the needle, if I'm twisting it the wrong way or picking it up from the wrong side. I don't know. I have no clue. Anyway, the big issue was, is it any wonder I was going to frog this? Because I was just like, it's starting to feel a little like a lost cause. The armhole, so right here, is kind of tight. So the yarn I'm using is an organic cotton and baby alpaca mix. Mostly organic cotton, I think 85%, and then the rest is baby alpaca. So it doesn't have maybe as much stretch. Words, Kelly, words. Doesn't have as much stretch as if it were a merino wool alpaca blend maybe. But I didn't really think anything of it. And then I tried it on before I started the sleeve. And just like this part kind of right around the shoulder felt a bit tight, and it wasn't so tight that I couldn't get my arm through or I couldn't move. And I thought, At first I was like, ugh, am I going to have to like go in and redo it? Or redo something. And I was like, you know what? I'm not. I'll live with it. And maybe it'll stretch out when I block a bit. So, because it wasn't so tight that I thought it's just not going to work at all. That tea's really good. Anyway, so I thought, okay, so I started the sleeve and I thought what I'll do is I picked up, I think for this, I was doing a size small and I think I was supposed to pick up maybe 58 stitches for the sleeve. And as I was going around, I ended up with 60 and I thought, that's fine. Like, a few extra stitches isn't going to kill me. So I did my decreases and I did them a little further apart than what it was calling for. So when I tried this on, here's the thing, and you might not be able to tell with this sweater on it, but I come from a long line of like big-armed women. And on top of that, dog hair, on top of that, I have put on a little weight in the past year because I hadn't been training and then I hurt my shoulder and I couldn't train. So I'm like, okay, once I get back to my training and I get back to my normal weight, I know my arms are going to be smaller than what they are right now. Not that they're going to be small because, again, long line of big-armed women. Woo! Yay, genetics. So I'm going to see. I'm going to do the other sleeve identical. If I had been really on the ball and thinking I wouldn't have done any decreases at all, I would have just gone like kind of straight down. Maybe done a little decreasing right here when you get, no, I might not even have done that because that's kind of where the bicep is. So yeah. So yeah, I probably wouldn't have done any decreases at all and just left it like that. And then I did do a stretchy bind off. So I was at least on the ball with that one. So I'm going to do this sleeve identical just so that it doesn't feel weird, I guess, by having two different shaped sleeves. And I'm just going to hope that it'll block out enough to still be comfortable. And I'm not too worried about it because I'm likely not going to wear it this season. I probably won't pick it up and really wear it until spring of next year. Because it's like shorter sleeves and we're heading into, you know, winter. So, yeah. So I'm not too worried about it. So that's why I decided not to frog it. Although at one point I was like, really? I really love the yarn. And I thought, if I can't wear this, and if I can't wear it, if I get to next spring and I'm like, you know what, it's still not comfortable, I don't think I'm going to wear it, I am going to frog it and repurpose the yarn because I love this yarn. But I think we'll be okay. And we're getting there. So I'm hoping that this will be a finished object by the next podcast. So that's the Tegna sweater by Caitlin Hunter, UandIknits. And yeah, so it's been giving me grief every step of the way. But we're almost to the end, people. We're almost to the end. And that got, that and the socks got probably the most attention. But, oh, and I still have, so this is what I have left from the second ball. It didn't come with the dog hair. I put that on there myself. So I've got more than enough left to do the last sleeve, and I still have a full skein left. So this is the Illimani in their Sabri line, which you guys are going to be sick of looking at. I'm not even trying to focus that because I'll leave the information for it down below. But the color is beautiful. It is so incredibly soft, and like it took 2 skeins to do a sweater in the size small. It was a cropped sweater, so if I was doing maybe a fuller length sweater, I probably would have had to dipped into the third skein. But I wouldn't have needed any more than that. And they weren't super expensive. They were $17 for a skein. And you got, what do I have on here? Glasses. 437 yards, so 400 meters. And yeah, so that's a good yardage. That's that, people. So I may pick up a couple more skeins of this and knit a different sweater in it. Because I love the color, I love the yarn. It's so soft. So, oh, yep, I'll put the sweater in the bag. That's one of my project bags from the Loop, and you see this is all chewed. The dog, when he wants my attention, will try to grab the thing here and run off with it. So he sort of was chewing it while he was looking at me. And my hands were full. I was knitting, and I was like, quit it. But the bag is from my local yarn store, The Loop. I have several of these bags. I love them. I love them. I think this one might be my favorite. I say that I'm trying to see what I have one with wine glasses on it that I really like, but I think this one's my favorite. It's got like the little birds and foxes and rabbits and all that on it. So, and then in my chestnut fibers bag, which I also love. Isn't it pretty? Pretty. Alright, this is my Bird of a Feather shawl, which, my hair, I need another haircut. Bird of a Feather shawl by Andrea Mowry. So this is my first time knitting with mohair, but didn't make too much progress. I basically put another section in it, and that was it. And I think, okay, I don't know if you guys are going to be able to notice this, but I think I might have one more. I know that there's one side that is supposed to have one stitch more than the other side, which is fine. But I think I have my one extra stitch on the wrong side, which means I have too many stitches on, too many stitches on one side and one, not, and I'm short one on the other side, if I'm doing my math correctly, but math is not exactly my strong suit, so I could be wrong there. So I've got to kind of pull out the pattern and figure out which side I need to adjust, if any. Or I might just leave it and just see what happens. Anyway, so here we are. It basically looks like a banana hammock, which we like to call the Speedo, for anyone unfamiliar. Probably not where you want to put the banana hammock, Kelly. So this here, sorry, crude. That's how we roll in this house. This here is the Juniper Moon in the Herriott Fine, and nope, that's not it. It is, I don't even know if I have it in here. I don't think I do. That's not anything. Yeah, so that's, they don't, oh my God, words. Where are my words? Clearly need more revitalizing tea. They don't have colorway names, so I think this was just a number, but it's basically like a really nice light gray. And then the mohair, which I have to start the next mohair section, is this lovely kind of smoky black mohair. I just can't really, it's, honestly, it's like knitting with thread. But it's beautiful, and it's really soft, which I thought it would make me itchy, but I don't think it's going to. And this is from Crooked Kitchen Yarn. She's on Etsy, and this is in her Selkie base. So that's in her Selkie base. She's got a lot of really great colorways on her website, or her Etsy shop, rather. So that's that. That's about all we got. And I really want to kind of, I'd love to get this off the needles before I go in for the shoulder slice and dice. But I really, honestly, that's not going to happen. Who am I kidding? I'm what, 3 weeks out, and I still have 3 or 4 pairs of socks to knit because I have to get my husband's done, which, as you can see, I have not even started, but I do have the ball kicked up. And I do think, I'm really hoping that I'll only really be incapacitated for maybe the month of November before I can start knitting again. And that will still leave me, you know, like 3 weeks in December. So I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know what I'm going to do for like the month that I can't knit. I'm going to catch up on my reading, clearly, because I can't go anywhere. I can't drive for 6 weeks. I think on Christmas Eve is the day I'll be able to drive again. I think that's how that worked out, or that week. So I've got most of my Christmas shopping done, except for my husband, who is being really awful about not telling me what he wants. So right now we've got socks. And they're not even knit yet. It'll be like the scarf that I knit him for Christmas last year that I just finished maybe like a month or 2 ago. Oh, sorry, hon. Yes, that's Bird of the Feather, and that is not going to be done. But I am going to make some progress on it. So, the other thing I'm knitting on. Okay, so stick that back in. So the other thing I'm knitting on is a sock. So this one is for my oldest nephew, who's 16. And I mentioned in previous episodes when I asked my brother what color of socks do you think that his 2 boys would like. He's like, you know, just dark colors like black or brown. And I thought, okay, well, I'm already doing brown socks for my husband, and these, like, thank God, has some pops of color in it. Because that scarf that I knit him last Christmas was the most boring knit. Oh my God, it was so boring. It was so boring to knit. Just like brown and brown and brown. And it wasn't even an interesting pattern. I think if I had picked an interesting pattern, it would have been fine. But he's like, I just want something plain. And so I was like, I'm never doing that again. You'll get what I give you. So anyway, I thought if I have to knit a black sock, I'm going to at least have something with some variation in it. So it's sort of a black sock, but it's not really a black sock. So this is from Log House Cottage Yarns, which, do I have their, I do. So that's their logo. What's that say on it? Oh, squishy sock base. Yeah. Extra fine merino nylon 80/20. So this is their Simply Speckled Dark collection. And honestly, like, look at this. This is turning out to be a lot of fun to knit with. I love how it looks. I kind of wish I had gotten myself one, which I know I can because they sell Log House Cottage yarns at my local yarn store. So I think the next time this is back in stock, I may grab myself a skein. I've actually knit, I have several of their skeins. That's another one. But yeah, I really like this. And it's good to kind of have like a black sock or somewhat of a black sock, just for a neutral color, because sometimes I want something that I don't have to worry is it going to clash with whatever else I have on. So I think I may have to get myself some of this. I can go on their website and buy it too, but I know my local yarn store usually carries it, so I'll keep an eye out there for when it comes in. But I love their yarn. I love it. Love it. So that's what I'm working on. This is sock number 1. This pair had better be done by the time I podcast next, or I'm going to be falling behind, because this is my oldest nephew. He's got longer legs, bigger feet, so I gotta get cracking. I gotta get crack-lacking. I actually went down this morning. I went down to the local coffee shop, Second Cup, and I was watching a podcast and started working on this. So I got a little bit done. Fueled by latte and Mrs. P's oat cake. I have cut back on my Mrs. P's oat cakes, which is a tragedy. So I had mentioned, I think, 2 episodes ago, that I had to kind of get cracking on losing some of the weight that I put on, because I don't want to go into my surgery and then not be able to work out for several months and just have it like get worse and worse. So I'm really trying to get back as close to my regular weight as I can between now and the surgery date. And then I've got some things in mind of what I'm going to do to try to keep myself in shape during a time where I can't really lift the heavy weights that I normally do. We'll talk about that in I was going to say the blather section. I was just watching Golden Vine. We should just call it the chatter section, because I forget what I call it. I think I call it something different every day, every time, every episode. Okay, so that's that. I think that's everything I've got on the needles right now. So here's the thing. In the queue, there's so many things in the queue, because the idea of not being able to knit is kind of freaking me out a little. So now I want to knit all the things. I have a lot. I have like literally, it's over there and I can't get to it because I've got all the podcasting gear in the way. I have so many scraps of yarn, which I'm sure all of you knitters do. So I'm trying to find ways to use it up, because I don't want to do the granny striped blanket. I had considered it at one point, but I was just like, I don't know. You know, really, the part that really kind of is not discouraging me, but making it so that I'm like, yeah, I don't think I want to do that, is the initial chain. How long I would have to make that, and then just the fiddliness of it. And I'm saying that I can crochet. I can crochet like a loop. I don't even know what it's called. I can't crochet. So yeah, I don't know. I don't really want to do that. I'm not a huge fan of how the granny stripe blankets look. It's not really my style. And I consider the cozy memory blanket, but I'm like, here's the thing. We have a golden retriever, and he sheds like a son of a bitch, really. Like I'm probably wearing more dog hair than the average human. But if you have like any kind of knitwear, the dog hair almost gets embedded in it. So if I had like a scrappy blanket, it would be covered in dog hair that I wouldn't be able to get out in no time flat. So it's different with my sweaters, because you put those away in your drawer, and the yarn is kind of up here out of the way where he can't get to it, and the projects are in the bags. So I don't have to worry about that. But if I had a blanket that's laying on the couch or whatever, and he's always up in the couches because, he lives here too, whatever. that, yeah, so I just don't think that's really a feasible idea. Yeah, so I'm at this point going to nix that idea. I am going to make some scrappy socks, but I also thought I have been wanting to make this. I'll show you. It's probably. So this is Joji Locatelli's 3-color cashmere cowl. This is in black and white. See, it doesn't really show too well. Oops. I don't know how clear that's showing up. I can't quite see around the paper. But you can kind of see, like, this part here is stripy. Oh, this part here is stripy. Let's go this way. Alright, I don't know. This doesn't, it's kind of folded down here. But, I'm just going to use, like, the fingering weight and sort of knit myself one of these. Because I love cowls. I love them. And I do have the, oh my god, I'm totally blanking on the name. The Helen Stewart, the one that was in the Advent, or I think it was called Knitvent, from last Christmas. And yeah, I can't remember, but it's basically, I think you knit, I've got one of those on the go, you knit, I think 6 or 8 rounds, and then you switch to a different color and it'll be a different design. I do have one of those on the go, which I'm going to finish. I'm going to put some love into that this afternoon. I have the place to myself this afternoon for probably about 4 hours, so when I'm done podcasting, I'm going to get some knitting done. But I do want to knit that as well, but I should probably finish the other one first. But I've got plenty. Like, I got plenty of scraps. I can do them both. The other thing in the queue is that I'm, like, you know, this close to finishing the Tegna sweater, and I really want to cast on my next sweater, and I really should have grabbed the bags. Hang on. I'm going. So, I've shown this before, but I have several sweater patterns kind of picked out that I want to get started on. I've got the Weekender by Andrea Mowry, which I think is a front runner for my next sweater. But oops, what have I got down here? Oh no, okay. Then I also have the Gramps Revive by Isabelle Kraemer. And I've got all of the yarn picked out for that. And I'm doing that in that yarn that I love so much, the Barocco, that I can't pronounce, the Barocco Gucci that I did my Phoebe scarves in. So I've got that all picked out and ready to go. And I've never knit a cardigan before, so I think that might be kind of a fun challenge. This is the JC. Everything really, I've got so many Isabelle Kraemer patterns on my list of things that I want to knit. And this again is another cardigan. I love this cardigan, and I love the yarn that I've picked out for it. It's like a brown kind of tweedy looking. It's Telluride, which is, I think it's a Classic Elite. Yeah, it's a Classic Elite yarn, and it is 82% superfine alpaca, 12% linen, and 6% Donegal. Oh my god, I love that color. It's just such a beautiful neutral brown with a tweedy look, and I think that is going to look gorgeous with that. So I don't know. Decisions. And I really want to try an Isabelle Kraemer sweater. So that's a possibility. This is, oh yeah, the Daydream sweater by Heidi Kiermaier, which I actually started a long time ago. Which I have to take out and redo because I really didn't understand the whole wrap and turns, which apparently I still don't, but I really didn't here. So you can kind of see all these like holy bits. So this is, yeah. So that's what this one looks like. And it's just like a nice, simple, it's got a little tiny V dip right there, which I don't think shows up very well. You can kind of see it just dips a little bit. So that's kind of a good, I think, basic sweater to do. And that's in this color. And this is the, it's the, oh my God. Ta-da! There. Elizabeth Lavold. I'm reading up. Lavold, Silky Wool Designer's Choice. So, and it's super soft. Like, it's really nice and soft. So I may just take that out and keep going with that. If I'm ever wondering, like, where my needles are, I put these things in project bags and I put the needles in with them if I've already started them, and then I go looking for the needles and I can't find the size I want in my regular needle holder bag, and I go buy another pair. And I forget, oh yeah. So this one, is this one Rachel? Yeah. So I am a big fan of Josee Paquin, who is UandIknits, and this is her Rachel sweater. So this, I have the, whoops, and I'm really tempted to make this my next one. I'm tempted to make them all my next one. But again, this is the Illimani Sabri, but this is in kind of a bit of a variegated, really neutral, almost like a linen color. And I really love that. I put little like lavender sachets in all of my bags. But I really like this, and I love her patterns. So it's again, it's like a really nice, relaxed fit. And that's kind of like right up my alley. That's the kind of sweaters I like to wear. Just, which, you know, you can tell I like kind of loose, boxy. A little bit of positive ease. I don't like it to be super snug, because then I feel like I'm always pulling at it. But here's some other ones, because this was the Vera Valimaki, the Snug, and then of course you get into the Isabelle Kraemer pattern collection. So that's the Ecstatic, and then this is the Baldric. This one I really like. I think this might be, I wonder if that's a DK weight. I think it might be. And then this is the Ashes one. So I'm like, so, and then there's the Shawl that I really want to do. This one's by Jenny Faithful. I don't know if I'm saying her name right there, but look at that. It's the Amber Equinox. It's beautiful. Oh my God, people. So many patterns. So much knitting to do. So little time. So that's kind of, that's what's going on in that. I'm gonna fix my thing. So that's kind of what's in the queue. There's a lot in the queue. There's even more. There's like other stuff down here. And then I went on a bit of a buying spree, which I showed, I think, in the last episode when Knit Picks was having a sale, and I got, I think, 4 sweaters quantity of yarn there. Oh, yeah. And all the ones that I showed you, I've got a sweaters quantity for. So I've really got to get cracking. I got to start using up some of my yarn. Yeah. Sad situation. Too much yarn. Anyway, so that's about it for what's in the queue. It's a long and extensive Actually, if I were to show you everything in the queue, we'd be here all day. So let's not do that. The other thing, what else is going on? Oh, there was a shop update last Saturday, and I don't know why I point. So last Saturday I did a shop update. I put in some Christmas colorway, the last colorway of the autumn series for 2018. What else did I put in? I did a tonal with some speckles on it, and I did a couple of sock sets with that. So what I'll do, I'll just pop down a little thing here to show you what's in the shop. There. And I am doing, if you buy 3 skeins or more, you get free shipping, and that's kind of regardless. That's not just domestic, it's if you're in the US or whatever, or anywhere. So 3 skeins or more, and you get free shipping, and that's during the holiday season. I may keep that post-holiday season. I'm going to see how it goes. And yeah, so that's it for shop news. I don't know if I'm going to get another shop update done before the holidays, because I've only got 3 weeks left. I've got the store well stocked right now, so I don't know if I'm going to have time. I don't know. So that may have been the last update. So yeah, and that's about everything. So life stuff, chatta. Sounds like I'm saying chowder. Say chowder. Last week my husband and I were on vacation. We didn't go anywhere. Well, we didn't have any plans to go anywhere. We were going to do some day trips, but the weather. Usually October is, weather-wise, usually our best month for the weather I like, which is usually sunny, crisp. Wear your jeans and a sweater and you're good to go. But for some reason, October this year has just been shit, really. It's rain, more rain, and then on top of that, there's been a little more rain. I feel really bad for any of the tourists that came here because October is usually such a beautiful month for us. I feel really bad for them. The leaves are still pretty. They're just wet. But, and I think too from the hurricanes, the weather was pushing up this way, so we had, we kind of had the tail end of Michael, and once it was post-tropical. So, which is better than when it was a hurricane, because, you know. So, anyways, that being said, weather report, we didn't really go anywhere, except for one day we went down to Wolfville, which is about, I don't know, maybe an hour and a bit drive from where I'm located in the HRM, which is like Halifax, Dartmouth. And I really wanted to go to Gasborough Farms. So, oddly enough, I've never been there before. And I think on my Instagram I had a little, I think it's saved in my highlights. I did a little, they have some alpacas and the sheep and all that there. So this is there. I'm going to put my glasses on because I can't really see what I'm doing. I can't tell if it's focused because I can't see it clearly. So this is so Gaspro Valley Fibers farm wool shop. So they had a lot of stuff there. They had a lot of stuff. And I could have lost my mind, but I sort of I'm trying to kind of cut back on my yarn buying because number one, I'm not going to be able to do much knitting, you know, for about a month, and I've got to start getting through some of my stash and knitting up some of my sweater quantities. But that being said, I did really want to, in the new year, my project is going to be trying color work, which I've never done before. So I had the lady there help me pick out some wool, and I didn't want to spend a lot of money, so because I could hate it or be like super bad at it. So these are the colors that we picked out, and it was like I think $7.50 a skein. So you know it wasn't that bad. So I got 3 different colors. So I kind of got like again sort of like a linen color, and it's called Nature Spun. It's a sport weight. This is ash. It's from Brown Sheep Company. So this is ash. There we go. So that's ash. This is Toffee Bar. I love this color. And this is Fanciful Blue. So my plan is to use this as, I want to do a pair of mittens. I don't know what mittens I'm doing yet. I have no clue. But I would like to use this as the main color. And then this is the kind of secondary color. And then this will be, I think, the pops of color to go with it. I think that's what I ended up deciding on. So I don't know what pattern I'm going to use yet. I'll probably start off with something pretty easy. Oops. And, you know, try my hand at it. I have no clue what I'm doing. I'm going to have to watch quite a few YouTube tutorials, I think. But while we were there, I also picked up, I think it's this one. I don't know if the glare from the lights. So I got this little card, but I'm using it as a picture. This is from Ernest Cadigan, who has all of these like wonderful sheep and kind of farm pictures. So I got this one, and then we went into Woolful. Oh God, I gotta tell you the story about that. Oh my God, I should not be left unsupervised. Technically, I was supervised. My husband was with me, but that didn't stop it. So when we were at Gaspro Fiber Yarns, they had these beautiful pottery mugs, and it had like a sheep on it, and blah, blah, blah. So because I've been doing this weird mug thing lately, I really wanted one of those mugs, but they were $40, and I was like, oh, I just want to kind of watch my spending today. So then we went into Woolful, and on the main street there is a store there called Wool and Tart. So we popped in there because I was looking for kind of a certain size of a 16-inch needle, circular, but I was having trouble finding it because Gaspro were low on their yarn or on their needle stock, and so was Wool and Tart. Anyway, as I was coming back out, when you walk in, the counter is sort of like on the side here, and they have a coffee bar, I guess, but there was like sort of glass or plastic, plexiglass, whatever, and there was a little kind of shelf right here, which I guess you could set your drink, which I wasn't really paying attention to that being what it was. I was thinking like in behind there was the cash register, that's where you paid for your thing. I wasn't really cognizant of the fact that there was like a coffee machine in back there, whatever. So anyway, I go and I look at the yarns in back there, and you know, there's some really nice yarns, but I thought, okay, there's nothing that I feel like I have to buy right now. So I was coming back out, and they had one of those exact same mugs on the shelf there next to where my husband was sitting. So I picked it up, and I was like, oh, I wonder how much this is, thinking it was for sale. I wonder how much this is. So I picked it up, and I turned it so I could see where the price tag was at the bottom. Except it wasn't a mug that was for sale there. There was water in it. Thank God it was water. It spilled all over the counter. It dripped down onto the stool next to where my husband was sitting. And there was an iPad, which thank God it was in its like cover. So it just hit the cover. But I didn't even notice that at first. I was trying to get it to stop because it had also sort of spilled on a magazine that was sitting there. And there was like a paper pattern that had been printed off, and it soaked that. And oh my God, I was just like, I was mortified. And my husband just standing there looking at me like, holy shit, I can't take you anywhere. So I'm just like, I need paper towels. So I was like grabbing the girl who had just finished with a customer showing them something. And I was like, I need some paper towel. I spilled water. It was going everywhere. And at this point, I still had not seen the iPad. And she was like, oh my God. So she went behind the counter. And at that point, I realized that there was like bags of coffee behind there, and oh yeah, plexiglass. Oh, so this is sort of like a bit of a little cafe bar. So anyway, as if the full mug of water wasn't the kickoff to that thought process. So anyway, then she's handing me paper towel. I'm sopping it up. I'm like, I need more. And at this point, she had passed by me to get around to the counter, and when she did, she had grabbed something on the stool, and I wasn't really paying attention. But when she got back there, so she kind of threw the paper towel at me, and I could see her like, oh, and she was like really upset that there was water on the cover of the iPad, which, you know, understandable if it had gotten into it. But like, it was an accident. It's not like I intentionally dumped your water that you left sitting on the counter unmanned for anybody to come along anyway. So I said, I'm really, really sorry. And I thought, like, I didn't know if she wanted me to pay for the magazine, which, you know, fine. I should have. I said, like, you know, I tried to say, you know, do you want me to pay? And she's like, that's fine. That's fine. It's fine. And I'm like, okay, your tone tells me it's not, but okay. So yeah, anyway, my husband stands up and he's like, what do we want to do? I'm like, let's just get the hell out of here now. I said, run. So anyways, we were laughing about that for the rest of the day, and maybe we shouldn't have, because she did seem quite upset with us. But in my defense, it was an accident. And your iPad was fine. And maybe you shouldn't have left it sitting on a stool, because somebody could have sat on it as well. At least I didn't do that. I just spilled some water on the cover. Anyway. So after that fiasco, we went down to a little art gallery, and they had some more of the Ernest Cadogan prints. And honestly, I could go right to town on these prints. And I really wanted, I picked up the first one and I thought, I think I'm going to get it framed. But I knew it would have to be custom framed, and that would be really expensive. And I really want to watch my spending for a little while, just because. So I did pick up a few more. And I got, instead of getting the prints, I got the cards because they were less expensive. So there is this little guy who is just flat out adorable. And then there is this one, which I've been eyeballing for a few years now. And then there's this one because I absolutely love horses, and this was just beautiful. So I've got those, plus this one here that I got at Gasbro, I think. But I thought rather than get them framed, I thought I'm going to string them on, I'm going to put like a little string of jute, which I think I'm going to do it, move Uber here, like right kind of behind there, and Uter, the podcast mascot. And then I went, this is really crinkly, I'm sorry. So I got like the little clothespins, and then I'm going to string the jute rope and just get a couple of little tacks to hold it there. And then I'm going to clothespin them to the jute rope and let them hang. So that's my far less expensive than custom framing. So that's that. That was pretty much all I bought. And that's really all we did on our vacation. We just kind of hung around, you know, ran some errands. It was kind of, it wasn't boring, but it wasn't eventful. We went out to dinner actually on the Monday, which was our 7-year anniversary, and we went out to, it's a local restaurant called Jameson's, and oh my god, it was so good. It was so good. I've eaten there before, and it's always good. So so we did that, and that's really about it. We did Thanksgiving dinner. Canadian Thanksgiving was last weekend, so we did that at my parents' house. And then we had gone out to lunch with John's dad the day before. And that was kind of it. So it was just sort of a low key. But next year, I think that's usually the week that we travel. We'll go somewhere. And we didn't do a trip this year because, you know, the shoulder and the surgery, and we didn't know when that was going to happen, and blah, 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 blah. So one of the places that we were kicking around kind of talking about was going to Denmark, going to Copenhagen. And another place I had thought of, although I'm really kind of leaning towards Copenhagen because I really want to see the Scandinavian countries. But I'd also like to check out Lisbon in Portugal. So I don't know. I'm not sure where we're going to go next. But I really I haven't gone on a trip this year. So I'm going to start kind of squirreling money away for that, because that's going to be a little more expensive, I think, the trip for next year. Yeah, so I think I'm going to start putting some money aside from that. So I'm going to have to curb my spending a little bit. And I'm also getting the mortgage paid off next year, so we're squirreling money away for that. So my yarn buying is going to have to not, you know, go away completely, but I think I'm going to have to start using up more of my stash and being a little more thoughtful in my purchases. Like, do I need this for something specific? Then okay. And that's not to say I'm not going to see the occasional yarn where I'm like, oh my god, I absolutely love this. I really really want it. But those are going to have to be fewer and further between. And then the other purchase I make, I want to have a project in mind and think, like, do I have something in my stash I can use this for, or that I can use for this project, or do I need to purchase something else? And what's the most economical way for me to do that? So that's that. That's my plan. That's it. I think that is everything. So I think I have one more podcast I will get in before surgery. One or two maybe. Maybe two. No, maybe just one. Anyway. I am going to still attempt the podcast after my surgery, even though I can't knit. I've got a few ideas of things I'm going to talk about and that kind of stuff. I'm going to try to get as much done before my surgery, so at least that first podcast I will have something to show for it. And then the next podcast, I've got some ideas of some things that we can kind of talk about. And then hopefully, if all goes well, the podcast after that, I'll have been able to get back to knitting. Because when I'm knitting, I'm like, if I'm doing like a small project or something I'm not really using my shoulder. So I think I may be able to get back to knitting before I'm able to get back to a lot of other things like typing. It's still kind of more like you're holding your arm out, and I find that really strains the shoulder. Weightlifting. We're doing a lot of lower body. And yeah, so I think I might still just be maybe one podcast that is more, less faux and hoe heavy than, the other ones. So I think that's it. But anyway, I feel like I'm babbling now, so I'm going to let you guys go. Thank you so much for showing up, to all the returning subscribers. You guys are awesome. Please give this a thumbs up if you enjoyed the episode. That really helps spread the word and kind of get us out there on the YouTubes. And yeah, to all the new subscribers and viewers, I really hope you liked the episode and that you'll come back and join us every couple of weeks. And don't forget to hit the little bell icon so you can be notified of when the new episodes come up. And that's about it. So I'm going to let you guys go. So until I see you for episode 43, happy knitting and see you soon. Bye.